Greetings everyone, dear aspirants. If you are preparing for upcoming prelims 2026, then this video lecture is for you. In this video lecture, I will tell you the most repeated topics from economics section that is repeated in every year, right? In prelims of UPSC CS, right? So, I have analyzed last 15 years question papers, and I have found that there are certain topics which are repeated most often. And here is a complete list of 16 main topics, right? So let's see the topics. So, as I said, there are 16 topics that is repeated most often in the prelims from economics section. And as you know, that economy plays a significant role in prelims, right? On an average, 12 to 15 questions are asked from economics section. So, if you ignore economics section, it can break you. And if you do it properly, it can make you, right? So, these are the 16 topics, 1 to 8, and next 9 to 16, right? So first see the first 8 topics. First is macroeconomy, right? So under this, it covers national income, GDP, GNP, growth rate, sectors, various sectors, primary, secondary, tertiary sectors, capital, right, business cycles, etc. Next important topic is government budgeting and government accounts, right? Budget related topics, right? Budget components, deficits, fiscal deficit, primary deficit, revenue deficit, right? All these type of deficits, FRBM, accounts, etc. Next is taxation system in India, right? For last few years, this topic has become favorite topic of UPSC, right? So in this, direct taxes, indirect taxes, and mostly GST related issues, right? GST, tax reforms, etc. Apart from that, fourth is monetary policy and money supply, right? So under this money supply, monetary policy, right? Such topics are very important. Apart from that, functions of RBI and forex management, foreign exchange management, right? So RBI is very important from economics perspective. Its functions, right? How does it control, right? Inflation. All these topics are very important. So RBI's role in currency, forex reserves, balance of payment related issues. Next is Indian banking and finance system. So under this, commercial banks, right, scheduled banks, banking reforms, etc., NBFC, non-banking financial companies, right? So their criteria, their reforms, their issues, all these are very important, right? Apart from that, capital market, money market, and FDI. FDI, right? For example, difference between FDI, FPI, right? Basic concepts, or sometimes data related questions, factual questions are also asked, right? So stock market, SEBI, yes, regulatory body of stock market in India, right? Instruments, foreign investments, for example, as I say, FPI. So you must know the difference between FDI and FPI. Clear? Next is industries and industrial policies. Also, industry has a significant role in India, in Indian economy or any economy, right? 8 core sectors, right? What are these core sectors? That is very important. Their weightage, and UPSC has already asked questions from this topic. So industrial growth, MSME, right? Criteria for MSME is very important, right? Liberalization effects on industry, right? LPG reforms, all these are very important. The next 8 important topics: international trade, yes, global trade, or it is also important. Export, import, especially from the perspective of India. For example, India's top 5 trading partners, right? Its trade deficit with which countries, trade surplus with which countries. This such type of data facts are also important, right? Trade policies, balance of trade, as I said, trade surplus, trade deficit. Okay. Next, International Economic Organization, also IMF, WTO, right? World Bank. These organizations are very important, especially their functions are important. Okay. BRICS, right? Under BRICS, New Development Bank, that is important. Or another topic like Asian Development Bank, that is also important. Next, population, demography, and human development, also very important. Okay. Next is poverty, development, health, and education. Mostly questions are asked from this topic based on current affairs, right? So whenever you study or you are revising current affairs, focus on these issues, these topics. Clear? So focus on poverty alleviation, development indicators, and certain schemes, right? Apart from that, employment, unemployment, skill development, job creation, labor force, skilling schemes. Schemes are also very important, right? So try to integrate the static portion with the current affairs topic, right? And whenever you are studying current affairs, focus on such topics. Do not read everything. That is not important. And especially only 33 days are left, right? So you should focus on such topics only. Next is agriculture and allied sector. Obviously, this plays a significant role, right? Questions are generally asked from this topic, and more or less 3 to 4 questions are solely from this sector, agriculture and allied sector, right? So crops, irrigation, MSP, right? Minimum support price, subsidies, food securities, animal husbandry. So that's why it is called agriculture and allied sector. Economic planning, institutions, laws, policies. This topic is also important. Apart from that, Niti Aayog. Yes, earlier it was known as Planning Commission, but it has replaced Planning Commission. Now it is called Niti Aayog, right? Apart from that, planning history, 5-year plans, right? In 2017, last 12th 5-year plan was discontinued. In spite of that, this topic is important, right? Economic reforms, for example, LPG reforms, right? And key acts and policies of government. So focus on such topics plus integrate with current affairs, right? Apart from that, you know that budget, right? Current year's budget plus economic survey are very important from economics perspective, right? So even studying budget and economic survey, focus on such topics, right? All these 16 topics, right? Now, which are the core topics, or how should you prioritize the topics? So I have categorized them in certain tiers. So first tier 1 is, here you have to give the highest weightage, right? So core areas, these are core areas, and mostly 5 to 6 questions, right? Or right, these 5 topics carries 6 to 10 questions annually, right? Only from these 5 topics. So these 5 topics are monetary policy, money supply, functions of RBI and forex management, Indian banking and financial system, government budgeting and government accounts, taxation system in India, especially GST. So these 5 topics are the core topics, right? And as I said earlier, that annually 6 to 10 questions are asked from only from these 5 topics. So note these topics in same order I am telling you, right? Next, tier 2, right? Second most important topics. So these topics are very frequent but slightly less than tier 1, right? That's why I have kept them in the same order. So here topics are capital market, money market, FDI. Macroeconomy, under macroeconomy, you must be knowing that UPSC asked, or the topic is macroeconomy, not microeconomy, right? So under this, GDP, concept of GDP, GNP, right? NNP, national income, right? Per capita income, all these concepts are very important. Growth, right? India's GDP growth rate, right? Nominal value, real value, or real growth rate, nominal growth rate. Inflation, business cycles, international trade, obviously with other countries, India with other countries. For example, you have to remember with whom or with which country India had trade deficit, with which country India had trade surplus, right? Export imports, trade policies, etc. And here, generally 3 to 5 questions are asked from these topics, right? Next, tier 3. So every year or almost every year, right, questions are asked from these 4 topics. And as I said earlier, agriculture, generally you would be seeing, right, that for last 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 questions are asked from agriculture. Even the number goes up. But from agriculture and allied sector, 3 to 4 questions are fixed. Right? Apart from that, poverty, development, health and education. So here, focus on current affairs. Right? Current data. Clear? Current schemes. Even when you are studying budget or economy survey, focus on current affairs. Right? Employment, unemployment, skill development related schemes mostly or data. Population, demography and human development also very important, and mostly it is also based on current affairs. So here you can expect 2 to 4 questions, right, from this topic. And agriculture, right, mostly 3 to 4 questions, right. Next, tier 4, law to moderate weightage, right. So here the weightage is as comparison to tier 1 to 3, weightage is low, right. So international economic organization, WTO, IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, right, industries and industrial policies are also important. So here generally 1 to 2 questions are asked. Sometimes international organizations or international economic organizations are skipped, but mostly you can expect questions from 1 or 2 questions from these topics, right. Last, tier 5. So under this, such topics are low weightage, right. So topics are economic planning, clear, economic planning including institutions, laws and policies, right. And mostly it is again based on current affairs, right. Though sometimes historical questions are asked, but mostly based on current affairs. Again, Niti Aayog, right, planning history, 5-year plans, right. And again I am repeating that you would be knowing that since 2017 5-year plans have been discontinued. Last plan was 12th 5-year plan, right, from 2012 to 2017. Since 2017 we don't have, or India does not have any 5-year plan, right. Economic reforms, LPG reforms, clear. So these are the main topics. So in this video lecture I have told you the most significant topics, the 16 topics, right. These are the 16 topics. Here 8 topics, and again 8 topics, 16 topics are there. You must revise all these 16 topics before prelims 2026. Thank you.